Hey guys, wanted to post another update. Just a little part of the swing I think is pretty cool, and I think it's overlooked. It's really hard to feel, hard to see, and if you don't have it, you might not know you don't have it. If you do have it, you might not know you do have it. It's how the arms transition. So it's going from internal to external rotation of the arms, and I'll show you what I mean. This is So if this is your arm neutral, so just lifting it straight up, if that's neutral, if you bend your arm this way, that's internal rotation. If you bend your arm this way, external rotation. Internal rotation, external rotation. The transition from the top of your backswing to the downswing, it happens in two places. It happens at your hips, and you see that with the force drill. You're going from your right hip to your left hip. It might not be an instant transfer over, but it's the getting off from this side and into this side. That's the transition for the top of your backswing for your lower body. For your arms, what has to happen is you go from internal rotation to external rotation. And it looks like that. You just drop it in there. So with the club in my hand, so if this is the top of the backswing, Robert says put it right on your shoulder and extend out. Well, if you were to swing down from this angle, and when I say swing down, I've talked about the lines of force where you want to extend out, and it goes right along the shoulder path. Like so, if this is my arm, you want the line of force kind of going as straight down that way as possible. So if you get to the top of your backswing and you're here, and this arm you can see is in internal rotation. And if I just extend out, which is kind of the point of the circle drill, if I just extend out, you can see how it goes over. So how do you get it to go along your line of force? Well, what you need to do is go from internal rotation of this arm to external rotation. So you can see my arm going from this way to this way. The grip itself is going that way a little bit. Like if my target's that way, it goes away from the target, so it settles down more on my shoulder plane. So if this is above my shoulder plane, so if I was in a swing, you can see my arm is above my shoulder. I'm dropping it down onto my shoulder plane. So I'm going from above it to on it, and that if I'm standing at you, looking at you this way, it is this movement here. It's dropping. It's going from internal rotation to external rotation, and I'm setting that external rotation plane right on my shoulder line. You can see how my arm is going straight through my shoulders. Wham, like that. So if more traditionally, this is what you'd look like in your golf swing. So this is the top of your backswing where I've put the club on my shoulders, extended out. You can see how my arm is above my shoulder plane. All I'm going to do is drop it onto my shoulder plane. And what you'll see is this wrist goes from a very neutral position to a very, I don't know, is that bowed? If this is flexed, then that would be bowed. So your right wrist becomes very bowed. Your right arm goes into external rotation this way. Robert shows it on this side of the body, which is fine, but I always feel it. I always like to feel like the club's in front of my chest. So I just feel it as this motion as opposed to this motion. So this motion, which is still the same external rotation as this, but it's just not at such an extreme. So it's this motion here. That's what you're getting. You're setting it right here on your side. So what the difference is, so if I was in neutral and I'm here, even if I'm here at the side, I'm pushing straight out, that would be the ball. You can see how it goes over. Once I set it down and I push straight out, you can see like I'm just pushing out, and you can see my arms straightening. So where it is like this, and I'm pushing straight out. As I'm pushing straight out, I'm not doing that rotation of my arm. That's just happening because I'm extending my elbow and extending my wrist. So I'm not trying to do this with my hand. I'm not trying to do I don't know, because it's going from this position to this. So I'm not trying to do this at all. I'm not trying to do this at all. I'm just trying to go like push it as far away as for me as I can. So just as far away, and you can see I'm doing this in slow motion. You can see it tracing that force line and coming on top of it. So that's the transition. It's this drop, and an extension out. And it's in the circle. So in the circle drill, you're coming from here and you're dropping onto that shoulder plane and then extending out. Dropping onto the shoulder plane, extending out. Dropping onto the shoulder plane, extending out. Dropping onto the shoulder plane and then extending out. So this is a transition move for the arms. It's going from this very neutral position to this externally rotated position of the right arm and then extending out. If your takeaway is very neutral like this, I like to just based on my success with the circle drill, I like to get my takeaway to here. So from here to here, and it's an expansion of this chest muscle. My scapula is retracting, and the reason I do this is so that instead of taking it here and setting it from a neutral position to a set, what I do is instead is I flow into that. So I flow into that position where I'm externally rotated of the right arm. I still have the same flex, and this motion has kicked this head in the same path that I went. So if I'm here, it kicks it in the same path. So this head already has momentum going out towards the camera and down. So now whenever I extend, it has the extra force of this, and then extension out. Extension out. I can't remember who asked. They said, is the rotation focused around the elbow? And I had a really complicated answer to that. So if I'm spinning this like this, I guess the elbow is the center of rotation. So this is staying about the same, and the elbow is contracting in, extending out, and then my forearm is twisting, and my hand is just kind of bending and extending. So between the two of them, it's acting as it's kind of more of a ball joint, where it's not. So my elbow is definitely a hinge. It only hinges. But whenever I think of a ball joint, I think of something that can rotate freely in place. And so if it was a true ball joint, I'd be able to just rotate all the way around on this plane. But it's not a true ball joint. It's just your two bones in your forearm rotating, and then your wrist extending out and back, and then a little bit of bowing and flexing. But your elbow, I guess, is the center. I don't remember who asked, but yes, it is the center of rotation. Your arm kind of moves that center of rotation around. So it's still like, I don't have my ball and string. So when I was swinging the ball, the weight at the end of the string, the motion of my wrist is more of a motion like that. And that's kind of the motion that you're getting with your elbow. And so it's that extension. Transition is getting into external rotation and extending out. If you want to add the next gear, you move instead of being neutral, you move your arm out and then contract into that and then extend out. Hope that helps. Thanks.